Leave and cleave. Leave and cleave. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and his father and cleave to his wife, and they become one. That's so profound. Leave and cleave. When a man, and right now I want to speak to the men. And ladies, I want you to listen up. When a man leaves his mother and his father and he cleaves to his wife, they become one. There's something that happens. There is a kingdom marriage that's supposed to take place. In order for that to happen, there's certain things needs to happen. First of all, when a man leaves his mother and his father, he joins with his wife. And this happens at an altar. Now look, an altar is something in the Old Testament, people would make sacrifices at altars. There's a reason why that a marriage takes place at an altar. That's why there's a reason why it's called an altar. Because there's also a sacrifice being made during marriage. Men, you go to that altar and you sacrifice your own desires. You sacrifice any selfish ambition, any vain conceit, anything that involves just you. Because what you're doing is you're dying to yourself. Because once you die to yourself, you become alive to God and you become one with your wife. That is a kingdom marriage. Now, once that takes place, there's something else that happens. You become the glory of God to that woman. You are the glory of God to her. You show her the love of the Father. You show her protection. Listen, you give that woman, you give your wife what God has given you. I protect my wife because God is my protector. I provide for my wife because God provides for me. We are the head of the household for a reason. We are to love our wives the way that Christ loved the church. Christ gave himself up for the church. We should be willing to do the same thing for our wives. Sacrificially, we should give up anything and everything for our wife. We should esteem our wives just same way that Christ did for the church. So once the sacrifice of yourself is made at the altar and you say, I do, you become the head of her household. Someone worthy, now listen to this, someone worthy to be submitted to. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, she is commanded by the Lord to submit to you. And you're commanded to respect and honor her. And if both the husband and the wife fulfill both things, then it should come naturally. I respect my wife. I respect her when she is around, and I respect her in rooms that she's not in. I make sure that I'm somebody that's worth her submitting to. In order for me to do that, I pour into her. I wash her with the washing of the Word. I give her everything that I have, because God has given me everything that He had. He emptied heaven out for me. Now, if the way it should work is that if anybody wants to know how you're living in your private life, they should be able to look at your wife and be able to tell a lot about what type of husband you are. If your wife is walking around and she is not stressed out, she is not worried about money, she's not worried about eating, she's not doing without, she has a smile on her face, she isn't doing without, then what's happening is you're showing the glory of God to her by being her provider, by being her comforter, by being everything to her that God is to you. That is your calling as a man of God and the head of your household, is to be everything to her that God is to you. She will show the glory to others of what you've given her. She will be a pleasure for other people to be around because she's being pleasured by her husband. She makes other people around her happy because her husband has made her happy at home. She brings joy into rooms that she walks in because her husband brings joy to her at home. It starts with the way the husband provides for the wife. And it should resemble the way that Christ provided for the church. Think about it. You should be the glory of God in her life, so she can shine her glory to other people, so she can show and shine her joy, her peace, her comfort, so she can be a guiding light to other people. Think about it, guys. We need to be worthy of somebody to submit to. We can't automatically say, hey, submit to me. Are you worthy to be submitted to? Biblically, we should live by all the principles that God has given us through Jesus Christ. There are principles that unlock certain things in a marriage. Get in your word. See what it is to be a godly man. Look what Christ did for the church. Study that. Because that, my friend, resembles what we should do for our wives and our children. Let me tell you something. Them kids are watching. Them kids are watching you. They're watching how you treat their mommy. They're watching how you treat your wife. I want my daughter to grow up and find a man that treats her the way that I treat my wife. And I can boldly say that, because it's what God has poured into me. What I'm giving my wife is what God has gave me. Not what I think is right, not what I think she needs, not what I think she deserves. I give her what God gave me. And you want your daughters to grow up looking for that, and you want your sons to grow up and be that way.